Now, dear students, this is Lohit Ram SK, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Srimati and Shivayar Government First Grade College, Pagoda. So, in the previous session, we covered the meaning of demand and demand schedule and the types of demand schedule and how it can be shown in the uh, graph with the help of some tables. And we identified the reasons for that and assumptions also. Uh, in this session, I'm going to cover uh, the meaning of demand curve and how it works with others, how it works on graph. Sorry. Let's understand what is demand curve first. Demand curve is a graphical presentation of demand schedule is known as demand curve. So graphically, we are going to see the demand curve. It's showing the relationship of uh, the different quantity of goods demanded and at different prices at different time. So it gives a connection. This curve shows the arithmetical relation. We can see it as in graphical presentation also. So if the demand curve always its natural demand curve always slopes downwards from left to right, the negative slope of demand curve that indicates opposition relationship between price and the quantity demanded. Here, so we can see the demand curve in this picture D. This line is called as demand curve. It's showing the relationship between of different prices and different quantity demanded. When there is a price is 10, the quantity demand is 6, means more demand is there. So here the curve sloped from left to right. So if it become opposite, so it shows the opposition between the price and quantity demanded. So if at rupees 10 the demand is 1 or 2 or 3, here in quantity demanded it become opposite, and the presentation of curve will be a different one. So this is demand curve. You can see in this picture. Let us understand what are the characteristics of demand curve. The position of curve. So here the demand curve position refers to a placement on a graph. So here placed between price and quantity demanded from y-axis to x-axis, and the scales representing price and quantity must remain same. Here the different prices and different quantities must be same one. Different quantities of demanded and different prices must be same. Then if demand curve is positioned for the right, here the demand curve is moving from left to right, so it's positioned to right. It indicates that a high quantity of demanded with lower price. So here the price is 10, that means low compared to other prices, it's low price, and the quantity demanded is more. When the demand curve is low on the graph, it indicates that low price creates steady demand. So here the price is low, the demand is also a steady, not it's increasing to or decreasing uh, low. So it's a on a steady point, not increased or decreased. Then the second character of demand curve is slope of the curve. So here the rate of change in demand over various prices point given demand curve, its slope. See here, whenever there is a prices changes, the demand curve is sloped from left to right. So it's not the same with all terms of prices. It is changed. Then the demand curve can be convex or form straight line. Here the demand curve can form the straight line when the quantity and price are almost same or slight changes. So then the demand curve may fall straight rather than carving like this. So demand curve can be convex or form straight line. So in each case, the rate of change in quantity demand is price decreases the forms of change in angle of curves. So here the quantity is changed with change in price and the curve is also moving at little bit changes. So here a steep demand curve means that price reduction only in increasing quantity demanded slightly. So here from 10 to 20 there is no much increase in the quantity of demand. So you can see when there is a price, the demand is not changed here. See in price 60 rupees demand is only 1 point quantity demanded. In price rupees 50 slight change only a 2 point is demanded. In rupees 40 it's also slight change, not gradual change. So So a steep demand curve means that price reduction only increases quantity demanded slightly, not too much change, only slight changes. So when convex demand curve can become convex, so it forms a straight line. So demand curve becomes convex. So there is no much proportional changes. Then this demand line become very straightened. Then the slope of curve, while concave demand or convex demand curve that flattens, it moves from left to right, reveals an increase in quantity demanded when the price drops even slightly lower. Here, the demand curve is sloped from left to right whenever the prices changed. See, from 60 to 50 it is changed, 10, 50 to 40 rupees 10 changed, 30 40 to 30 rupees 10 changed, 30 to 20 rupees 10 changed, 10 to 20 to 10 rupees 10 changed. So then the quantity of demand is also increasing. So whenever there is a slight changes, see from 60 to 50, here the quantity demanded is moved from 0 1 to O2, means quantity is increased to number 1. One more number quantity is increased here. When the 40 is there, the quantity demanded is 40, means from, sorry, for 4 quantity demanded means from 2 to 4 it is moved. When price is changed from 40 to 30, then it's moved to quantity 5. Then 20, there is no much change. When it is reduced to 10, the quantity demanded is more. So from 4 to 6, two numbers is increased. So whenever there is a slight changes in the prices, it leads to high quality, high increase or higher demand or increased demand. Here, the another one is shifting curve. So here shift refers to a demand curve changes in position over a time. Here the demand curve is changed from at different prices with different time also. So this change is called as shift. Then as the demand curve moves to new position on a graph, it reveals changing trends in consumer behavior. When the curve moves means so consumers habit or buying habit or income or taste and preferences, we may call it it's changed. So for example, here when a demand falls on the graph from one measuring period to another period, it indicates that lower produces lower prices produces same level of demand as higher price did during the earlier measuring period. Here the price is lowerly changed from 1 to 1.5. The quantity of demand is not, sorry, 60 to 45. It is reduced slightly, but the quantity demand is not too much increased. When price is low, see 10 rupees, the quantity demand is 6, so 20 to 10, only at 2 points is increase, not 8 or 10. So the quantity is going to be changed depending on the change in prices. As like the price changes, the demand also going to be changed like price. If it is high, the demand is also high. If it is low, the demand is low, also low. Here, the causes for demand curve slope downwards from left to right is entry and exit of customers. So whenever there is a new customer enter into a market and buy, there may be a possibility of increasing in demand. And whenever there is a exit of the current customer or the a new customer, if he may not continue for further. So then also then there will be changes in demand. Then the law of diminishing marginal utility. So here, marginal diminishing marginal utility means whenever the consumer is going to consume more and more number of same product, the satisfaction level is going to be decreased gradually immediately after consuming one after another product. Then the next is multiple uses of goods. So if consumer is using a different products or using the product with the different uses, so he may not buy regularly. The preference for buying that particular good is going to be changed. Then substitution effect. So whenever there is a change in income and requirement level of requirement for of any goods and services of a consumer, so he may go for substitute. He may not buy the same thing. Suppose take for example, if consumer want to have a tea, so instead of that he can have a coffee also. So that give almost same kind of effect in consuming. Then income effect. So whenever there is a change in income from it may be a lower income to middle income to higher income. So whenever there is a change in income, the buying habit of consumer also it's going to be changed. So with that, the demand also going to be changed. So whenever there is a demand change, the curve of demand curve is sloped downwards from uh, left to right. So in the revision, we can see that demand curve and its movements happens with different causes as we seen in the slide number 4. So then demand curve is used to represent demand and comparing the demand over a period of time. So with the help of demand curve, we can any business organization can understand the quantity of demand for their goods and services at different prices and at with the different times. Here in the slide number 4, we have seen with the different individual demand with the different prices, the different quantity demanded. So in this picture, we have seen both the table and the graphical representation of price and quantity, which is connected with the demand curve. So with this, I conclude my session. Thank you.